Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. We are changing the planet one woman at a time. We are changing communities one woman at a time. We are bringing our voices to the planet, and we're loud and we're bright and we shine. I'm Cynthia James. I'm your host, and I get to introduce you to extraordinary women that are doing fabulous things on this planet that have inspired me and that I think have something to say that can support you in moving to your next level. So my guest today is, I don't know, sister from another mother is what I'm gonna call her. She is incredible. Her name is CeCe President. She is an entrepreneur, a speaker, and the creator of the six-figure freedom residual income system. She's passionate about supporting entrepreneurs to get the coaching, the confidence, and the cash they need to live their dream life. Although she holds a master's degree in public administration, CeCe gained insight into entrepreneurship as the CEO of Clark Development Group, a real estate firm she founded and grew to, listen to this, $5 million by the age of 34, right? She's passionate also about health and wellness and network marketing. So she spent the past 5 years enjoying the life as a full-time business and lifestyle coach for Isagenix, a leading health and wellness company. She's already in the top 1% of income earners in the company, and she's committed to building Isagenix as her next seven-figure business. Welcome, CeCe.
Oh, my darling Cynthia James. I'm so excited to be able to hang out with you today.
Well, I'm thrilled you're here, and I'm so grateful that I get to introduce you to this audience. But y'all, I want you to know how I met her. I was leaving, working for an organization, a spiritual organization, and I was invited by Lisa Nichols to come to a weekend of global leadership. And I got in there and I was like, oh my gosh, this is where I need to be. And oh my gosh, I do not belong. I'm having meltdowns galore. And then there's CeCe. CeCe is the global director of what?
The director of global partnerships and sales.
Yes. And I want you to know, thank goodness, because she picked a bunch of us off the floor. She helped us all get clear about what we were doing, the investment we were making, and what difference it was going to make. And I told her this in private recently, that her face, her heart, and her conversations really helped me remind myself of what I was capable of. So, CeCe, I'm so grateful you're here. And I want to know, what brought you to Isagenix and how quickly you moved into the 1%.
Well, thank you again, Cynthia. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be connected with amazing and beautiful people like you. My life, the joy I experience in my life, the abundance I experience in my life, it's all just a reflection of my amazing relationships with people just like you. So thank you so much for being my friend all these years. And, I'll tell you, Isagenix I felt like it was a gift to me, because what brought me to it and what helped me create success there was the same thing that helped me create success in real estate, was the same thing that helped me create success as a coach, was the same thing that helped me create success at Lisa Nichols' company. And that was just that my approach to whatever I do, my approach to every single conversation is this. I listen really, really, really intently to what people say, but then I hear for what people are praying for, right? And when I have something that's a solution, whether it's a nutrition system, whether it's a six-figure income system, whether it's a global leadership program, whether it's a house, no matter what it is, if I have a solution to what that person is praying for, I'm going to offer them my solution and my support.
Yes, totally.
And if my solution is not for them, though, I just offer them my prayers.
Yes. Well, and your heart,
Yeah.
because I know I sat there scared in front of you a couple times, and you did listen, but you were also present with me. And I know you're coaching people in isogenics, and I know that that's something you bring to them, is the presence. But I want to know, how you got hooked up there, because I know you had your own issues and what it did for you.
So yeah, okay. So here's a funny story. Lisa Nichols and I, we're in Australia. This is 2014, I think, actually. I can't remember, 2014, 2015. And we're backstage, behind stage, and somebody said, would you guys like a shake? But literally, it started there. And we were like, sure. We drank the shake, and we're like, my God, this is delicious. What's in here? And the people are like, water. So Lisa's assistant, who was also in Australia with us, said, CeCe, Lisa, we got to do this together. We're like, what is it? Well, it's a nutrition program, and it has the side effect that you can lose weight and have more energy and just overall be healthy. And Lisa and I are like, okay. Right? Like, it was really that simple for us. But after, releasing 33 pounds and feeling absolutely stinking amazing and feeling like I'm aging backwards and having my doctor tell me, CeCe, wait a minute, you were here 6 months ago and you were 30 pounds heavier and pre-diabetic. What did you do? Right? Like, I knew that there was something different, but all my friends in GOP, all of my friends kept saying, CeCe, you look amazing. What are you doing? Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this stuff. It's amazing. And, it was so crazy because for me, what happened was, I was a few months after all my friends kept asking and they wanted to get started. I came back from another trip that we were on. And my husband said to me, babe, you got an envelope in there from Isogenics. It feels like there's a credit card in there. And I was like, oh, babe, remember all my friends kept calling me, asking me what I was doing, and they wanted to get started, and their husbands got started. I said, the company pays me for that? Like, Cynthia, seriously, I was ignorance on fire. I had been an entrepreneur, but I didn't know anything about this whole networking thing and leveraging, and I knew nothing, right? And so I opened the envelope, I take out the card, I put it in the computer, and literally there was almost $2,000 on that card. And I remember in that moment saying, what if? Like, if I could earn $2,000 by accident, like, what could I do if I was being intentional? And so I just became intentional.
Well, I love that. But you've done that across the board. You become intentional in your professional life, and you become intentional in your personal life. I happen to know you're married to the man of your dreams.
But you know what? I'm better than that. I am married to the man that God put together, assigned. Right? Like, he literally made his arms the length he did, his head the shape it is, everything about that man, God designed it to be my husband. That's who I get to be married to.
Oh, well, I love this. And was it like love at first sight, and then bam, there you are 65 years later?
I wish. I wish. I wish. It kind of started like isogenics. I literally walked in the dorm room when I was 18 years old. Now, I know that looks like it was just a few short years ago. Did I tell you Isogenics is about anti-aging? Okay, there you go. Literally, like when I met him when I was 18 years old, I walked in the dorm room, I looked at him, and he was sitting there on a sofa. He was red, by the way, and his arms were stretched out, and he had these big old muscles. He had a black and white paisley shirt and some blue jeans, and his hair was about this tall. This is the 90s, right? So his hair's like sticking up here. And I looked at him and I said, And in that moment, like my heart felt like it loved him, and my soul felt like it knew him. Like in that moment, like I remember he always laughs and says there were like all these people in the room. All I saw was him. All I saw was him, you know? And we were together throughout my college years. He asked me to marry him while I was in college. I'm like, boy, we're too young, you know? And then even after I graduated from college, he was a year ahead of me. So even after I graduated from college, he asked me to marry him for a second time. And I said, babe, I'm moving to Atlanta. Will you come with me? And he said, I can't go. And I said, and I can't stay. We literally kissed. We said, I love you. And then we never saw or spoke to one another again for 19 years.
Right. And then the universe brought you back.
Oh, listen, God was planning and plotting and doing this, long journeys. And God was intentional. Like we've had conversations and we, have backtracked, like what was going on in our lives the 24 months before we spoke for the first time. And literally we could see so many areas where God was truly aligning our lives to be back together in that very moment. Like there was no accident. And within 74 days of speaking to him for the first time in 19 years, I sold a 7-figure business. 74 days later, sold another 7-figure business. This is a different business that I own. And, was in the process of selling my home, moved across country from Dallas, Texas, where I was living at the time, to Cleveland, Ohio, 74 days later. Right. Because I knew that I had spent that 19 years away from the person that God intended for me, that God created for me to be my husband. And if I didn't have to spend another 19 seconds away from him, I wouldn't.
Right. So, okay, so this is important. Before we started this recording, you and I were talking about obedience. And so what I'm hearing is there was obedience in terms of the business, Isogenics, and before that the other two, and then obedience in terms of not wasting one more moment.
Yeah.
So why is obedience important?
Oh, because you know what? If we can truly walk in step with the universe, with the creator, with God, whatever language you choose, when we can walk in step, there is a flow to it. It flows. There's a rhythm to life. There's a rhythm to creation. There's a rhythm to success. And when we can walk in the flow of that, this is my infinity sign, right? Like it continues to come. It's all about walking in that flow. And my obedience was simply me continuing to do that when I felt these divine nudgings. Like I literally heard the voice of God 8 months prior to talking to my husband for the very first time in 19 years. I literally heard the voice of God say, connect with Anthony President. I heard it. And I didn't do anything. I just literally grabbed my computer. I already knew he was on LinkedIn, girl. I knew what that man was. His name is Anthony President. How can you lose him? You don't lose a man right? Like I had stalked him for years. But when God said connect with Anthony President, I was obedient. in that moment.
Well, I love that. And so I want you to tell the women, how does this relate to their answering the calling and creating the business of life? Because I'm like you know, I hear audible things and instructions. Not everybody does. Sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes, but what's the connection of the calling and the obedience, you know, to step into the top 1% of earners in a company or to create your 7-figure business?
Yeah, it's okay. So it does go back to, it just goes back to that idea of truth, honesty, and love. So much for me is about living in my own truth, right? Like, and experiencing my own truth and not allowing the truth of other people to determine what is for me, right? So for example, when I first told the world, whoever the world is, right, that I was leaving, who leaves Lisa Nichols running her multi-million-dollar company, flying across the world, first class, 175 days a year, in five-star hotels, meeting some of the most epic humans on the planet, by the way. Who leaves that to say, oh, I'm going to be a network marketer, right? Most people don't. Many people are comfortable living inside of that gilded cage, right? It looked beautiful. It looked exciting. But one is tapping into your truth, like tapping into that truth of, you know, what calls you, what pulls you, not what do you have to push to get, what pulls you, what is that thing that you could talk about ad nauseum? Like, what is that thing you wake up with it on your brain? Right? That's that truth. But then the service piece comes in. It's okay, how can you do more of that? How can you serve people? How can you serve more in whatever it is you're doing? No matter what your role, what your responsibility is. How can you serve people better? I keep doing this because I talk about a lot. Service for me is living at love, is doing things out of a place of love. You know, when you look at, I'm sure many of your listeners have probably read one of my favorite books, Power versus Force. You've of course read Power versus Force. And so power versus force, one of the things that it talks about is that, you know, there are these energy levels inside of all of us, and every single solitary human emotion that we can experience has an energy level attached to. Level 20 is the very bottom. That's something like shame, right? Meaning I am bad. Next, level 30 is guilt, meaning I did bad. But then you can go all the way up to 1,000, which is enlightenment, right? But there's this fulcrum at a level 200 energy, right? There's this fulcrum that takes you from force, creating from a place of force, to power, creating in a place of power. And even above that fulcrum, right? Even above that area is love is right here, right? That's why I keep doing this. Love is right here. Service is right here. Your business, whatever it is that you decide to do, the way you serve, you should feel about it right here. That's why it has to come from your truth. That's why you must be honest with yourself. Because in order to serve at this level where money will follow you, like it needs to be at the intersection of your passion and your talent. That's how you're able to serve at that level. So it doesn't matter what your gift that you're sharing, whether it's, you know, sharing the gift of transformation or sharing the gift of inspiration or sharing the gift of financial freedom. It does not matter. When you're serving from a place of love, 6, 7, 8, doesn't matter. The figures will just follow.
Oh my goodness. Okay, ladies, I hope you wrote that down. Living at the level of love. So, we were laughing when we got in here. It's like, this is never going to be 20 minutes, which is so funny. But I want to know, how do people find you?
You know what? Okay, look, my favorite place to connect with people is Facebook. It's so ridiculous. I have an amazing website, I have amazing Instagram, all this stuff. Well, I promise you, there is something about Facebook for me that just is fun to connect with people, because I literally get to share my life, like my real life and my real thoughts and my real opinions. So if anybody just went to Just Ask CeCe, CeCe, Just Ask CeCe, all one word, on Facebook, they'd totally find me, or CeCe President, whatever.
Well, love it, love it, love it. So I ask the same question, the same last question of every guest. What do you want women to know about their awakening?
I want women to know that our world needs their awakening. Our world needs us now more than ever. It needs the love that we have inside of us, the beauty that we have inside of us, the strength, the courage. Like, the world needs us now more than ever to show up bigger and better. That's what I want us to know. The world needs us. I always believe that the world is moving towards more, right? Mm-hmm. But with change comes some challenges. Mm-hmm. And I believe in the hands of women and through the hearts of women, those challenges can be minimized and the time frame can be shortened. So we got to stand up. We must stand up. We must wake up and take our power and live at love and show the world the example of what it looks like.
Awesome. Well, you're talking my language. CeCe President, thank you so much for being here, for bringing your heart, your passion, your joy, your light.
Thank you.
I'm so honored to walk this path with you.
I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for us. I'm grateful for my beautiful Lisa for knowing that you needed to be in the room where
I love it. So ladies, please come back. We are posting new podcasts every week. You get to meet amazing women giving you wisdom pearls. And just like CeCe said, please know that you're magnificent, that you're a masterpiece, that you're here by a divine design, and that right this moment you are essential. Otherwise, you would not be here. I look forward to playing with you more and to spending more time and sharing more incredible women. Many blessings.